So what's the point? So I just went through 12 different points describing what an entrepreneur is. The point of that whole spiel was that I've just described less than 1% of the U.S. population. I mean, I think it's like a fraction of a percent. So don't let the fear of creating competition stop you, because like I just covered, most people are not of the entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, literally, if you sat down with some of the qualified candidates who are thinking about working for your company, they're not gonna fall into the entrepreneurial mindset mode. They're not gonna have that world view. And it's not nothing to knock them. It's okay, honestly, if they're happy doing what they're doing, working good jobs, and following the status quo, that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to offend them. I'm not trying to say that they're any lesser of a human being, but I'm just saying I think our fear as entrepreneurs sometimes is irrational, because we just assume that everyone else has the same mindset when it comes to business and life that we do, and that's just not true. Another reason is most people don't have the capital to start a business, even a few $100s. I think the average American has about $35 after all their money is spent every paycheck. That's including a cost of living, just fun and entertainment. I think the average savings account is pathetic. They don't have money to spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 to invest in the infrastructure and the inventory necessary to start their business of their own. They just don't. And finally, most people don't have the attention span to learn. Their attention is elsewhere. We live in a world that's full of screens that are vying for our attention, exciting things and games and movies and apps that are pulling us away from gaining any real knowledge that can be applicable, especially when it comes to starting a business. And I mean, you're on module number 5. If you're listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth, you've invested so much time and energy into this business. I guarantee you look around your neighborhood or wherever you're living, and the majority of people wouldn't have done what you've done. They're too distracted. Let me give you some examples here. So this is a Nielsen study, and it shows that Americans have about 11 extra hours every day. So they sleep about 6 or 7, and they work 8 and whatever. They said the average American has about 11 hours left, and this is what they spend their time doing: TV, radio, smartphone, internet, PC, time-shifted TV, game console, DVD, multimedia. So we're spending just an incredible amount of time in front of the TV, playing games on our iPhones. I mean, Facebook is extremely popular, but it's extremely addictive too. And I know Twitter and Instagram are the same thing, and Pinterest, and even just shopping on Amazon and checking out eBay and reading blogs. Literally, like, it is a time suck. I could sit around and scroll through Facebook for hours and hours and hours and hours every day. And you know what? Sometimes I do, and I feel guilty for it, because I could be doing something a little more productive. I mean, it's kind of like playing slot machines, where I used to gamble. I don't gamble anymore, but I used to when I was a lot younger. And it was like that, you'd pull the lever 100 times, and 2 or 3 of the times you'd win. But the other, 99, 98, 97 times that you pulled that lever, you failed. There's no benefit, there's no value out of the time spent doing that. I think that's the same for Facebook. Occasionally, like 1 out of every 100 posts you find are good, and they might add a little bit of value to your life, but the hundreds that you've waded through to get to that one ended up costing you a lot of your time and energy. Time that could be spent doing something more profitable. And people are watching a lot of TV. It says children aged 2 to 11 watch over 24 hours of TV per week, while adults aged 35 to 49 watch more than 33 hours, according to the data from Nielsen that suggests that TV time increases as we get older. That's crazy. 33 hours a week for grown adults? I know some of that's a half passive or passive TV viewing. You just have the TV on in the background where you're doing other menial tasks, but that's a lot of time spent in the front of the TV. Think about that. Like 33, if you could invest 33 hours a week, that's almost a full-time job into learning about how to grow a business, learning about how to found a company, learning about how to build systems and where to invest your money and how to make your life and your business more efficient. Or in a hobby even. Come on, you could like really learn some amazing stuff. But as a culture, we're not interested in that. We live in an entertainment culture. That's just the reality of things. And again, I'm not knocking it. If that's what people want to do with their time, that's fine. But I'm just saying, don't fall into the trap where you're afraid of growing and scaling your business because you think people are going to compete with you, when in all actuality, they'll come and work for you, and then they're going to go home and do what they want to do. And that's usually entertaining themselves. It's typically not investing in a business via education. So in conclusion, I just would recommend you guys be proactive. The first thing you can do to make sure you retain employees and independent contractors is compensate them well. If you pay them well, you give them good money, they feel like they're rewarded well for the job, they're going to be less likely to leave. Also, give tons of recognition, because as studies have shown, some people value recognition and appreciation from their bosses and their company more than a paycheck. In fact, one of the biggest reasons why people leave jobs is because they feel they weren't appreciated and recognized. And that could just be a public congratulations. It could be a one-on-one thank you. It could be a gift. It could be a bonus. It could be monetary. It could be non-monetary. But just make sure you're doing that for the people that work for you and that are exceeding your expectations. And finally, another way you can be proactive is to segment your business. Again, the more you split things up, the harder it would be for people to even visualize how to replicate it. If you have one person sourcing, one person listing, one person managing, it's going to be much harder for the sourcer to put together the pieces on how they can, conceptualize their own business so they can defect and become a direct competitor. It's just not going to happen. And there's a lot of money that goes into this business, and if they don't understand those things, they will all too soon, and their business will fail, and maybe they'll come back and work for you. But ultimately, we've never had this problem. The people that we have working for us, they have hobbies. Their why for being alive and for working for us is not to grow and scale a big book selling business. It's to work for us for 2, 3, 4 days a week, and then spend the rest of their life doing the stuff that they want to do. And we have a guy who, he's making $600-700 a week, and he's working 3 or 4 days max, usually 3. He spends the other 4 days doing what he loves to do: shooting guns, going climbing, going hiking. He's an outdoors kind of guy. We have another guy, our book sales manager. He works 3 days a week, and sometimes 4. But again, he spends the other 4 days. He spends every single weekend building and designing board games to submit to publishers to have published. That's his passion in life. So he's freeing up his free time to do what he loves to do. They both are, and for neither of them is it become a direct competitor of me. So hopefully I've quelled some of your concern and some of your fears about hiring people. If you're in the same camp, I want to say that it has gone through my mind before too. I'm not completely immune to it, but hopefully you've been encouraged to push forward and to not have this be the stumbling block that ruins your business before it even has an opportunity to take off. I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one.